Welcome to the June 10, 2020 regular board meeting of the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors. The time is 5 p.m. This is President Harvey Luth, and we will now begin the meeting. Please be advised that this meeting will be recorded. Please silence your cell phones and devices to reduce background noise or disruption. In accordance with the California Governor's Executive Order N-29-20, guidance from the California Department of Public Health, and in an effort to combat the spread of COVID-19, the Chino Valley Fire District will hold all regular and special meetings of the Board of Directors remotely until further notice. Board members may physically participate in the meeting at the Fire District Administration Headquarters. The public may join the meeting real-time in listen-only mode. Instructions and the GoToWebinar URL link for the meeting are listed on the agenda. Our agenda is posted on our website at cbifd.org. Please be advised that when you join the meeting real-time, your screen name will appear on the GoToWebinar screen. The board will accept public comments on all items on the agenda and under public communications. Instructions for participating in public comment are listed on the agenda and on the Fire District website. The public had two options for participating in public comment. One option for participating in public comment was to submit comments to the clerk of the board by email at clerk@chofire.org prior to the beginning of the meeting. Comments received by email will be read real-time by the clerk of the board during the specified time. Emails are limited to 300 words. Please note that your name will be read into the record. The second option for participating in public comment real-time was to register prior to the meeting at the GoToWebinar URL listed on this agenda. If you have registered for public comment, the clerk of the board will call on you and unmute your microphone when it's your turn to speak. Attendees may also need to unmute their own devices to be heard. When your name is called, begin the public comment by stating your name and address, which is optional for the record. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes. For a recorded viewing of the board meeting, you may access Fire District website the day following the meeting at www.cbifd.org and click on Video Archive. I will now open the meeting and take roll call. Please answer when I call your name. Director Wynn Williams. Here. Director Mike Krieger.
Here.
Director John Nemonico.
Present.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
Present.
And myself, Harvey Luth, present. I would like to remind those joining us by GoToWebinar to please mute your microphone until it's your time to speak. Cut down on any background noise. Before I adjourn the open session to closed session portion of the meeting, I will read the 3 closed session items. Conference with labor negotiators. Meet with board previously appointed negotiators, Fire Chief Tim Shackelford, Finance Director Steve Heide, Human Resources Director Christy Kuchwara, and Francis Rogers, LCW, regarding negotiations between Teamsters Local 1932 non-safety unit employees and the Chino Valley Fire District for Government Code Section 54957.6. Conference with labor negotiators. Meet with previously appointed negotiators, Fire Chief Tim Shackelford, Finance Director Steve Heide, and Human Resources Director Christy Kuchwara, regarding negotiations between the unrepresented part-time employees in the Chino Valley Fire District for Government Code Section 54957.6. Conference with real property negotiator. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8, the Board of Directors will meet with its designated negotiator, Fire Chief Tim Shackelford, regarding real property owned by the City of Chino Hills and located on an undeveloped parcel located on the south side of Soco Canyon at the intersection of Soco Canyon and Pipeline Avenue. The Board of Directors will instruct the district's negotiators concerning the price and terms of payment. Clerk of the Board, do we have any public comments on any of the closed session items?
President Luth, we have no public comments on closed session.
Thank you. I will now adjourn the open session to closed session. We will return to the regular board meeting open session at 6 p.m. Staff members who are not participating in closed session are now asked to leave the boardroom until 6 p.m. when the open session resumes. When the closed session adjourns, please, those joining the meeting remotely will join the same GoToWebinar link at 5:45 p.m. for a sound check and stay on until the open session begins. After the sound check, remember to keep your microphone muted until 6 p.m. when the open session resumes. Welcome to the June 10, 2020 regular board meeting of the Chino Valley Fire District Board of Directors. The time is 6 p.m. This is President Harvey Luth, and we will now begin the meeting. Please be advised that this meeting will be recorded. Please silence your cell phones and devices to reduce background noise or disruption. In accordance with the California Governor's Executive Order N-29-20, guidance from the California Department of Public Health, and in an effort to combat the spread of COVID-19, the Chino Valley Fire District will hold all regular and special meetings of the Board of Directors remotely until further notice. Board members may physically participate in the meeting at the Fire District Administration Headquarters. The public may join the meeting real-time in listen-only mode. Instructions and the GoToWebinar URL links for the meeting are listed on the agenda. Our agenda is posted on our website at cbifd.org. Please be advised that when you join the meeting real-time, your screen name will appear on the GoToWebinar screen. The board will accept public comment on all items on the agenda and under public communications. Instructions for participating in public comment are listed on the agenda and on the Fire District website. The public has two options for participating in public comment. One option for participating in public comment was to submit comments to the clerk of the board by email at clerk@chofire.org prior to the beginning of the meeting. Comments received by email will be read real-time by the clerk of the board during the specified time. Emails are limited to 300 words. Please note that your name will be read into the record. The second option for participating in public comment real-time was to register prior to the meeting at the GoToWebinar URL link listed on this agenda. If you have registered for public comment, the clerk of the board will call on you and unmute your microphone when it's your turn to speak. Attendees may also need to unmute their own device to be heard. When your name is called, begin the public comment by stating your name and address, which is optional for the record. Comments must be limited to 5 minutes. For a recorded viewing of the board meeting, you may access the Fire District website the day following the meeting at www.cbifd.org and click on Video Archive. I will now reopen the meeting to open session, and for the record, I will take roll one more time. Please answer when I call your name. Director Wynn Williams. Here. Director Mike Krieger.
Here.
Director John DeMonico.
Present.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
Present.
And myself, Harvey Luth. And now, Legal Counsel Jeff Bellinger, please report out of closed session.
Yes, President, members of the board, and members of the public, the board met in closed session earlier this afternoon on the 3 items that are listed on the agenda, and there was no reportable action.
Thank you. And now, if you'd rise and please join me in the flag salute and then remain standing for the invocation. Please join me in our flag salute. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, Ruben Estrada, Fire District Chaplain, is joining us to present the invocation. Chaplain?
Good afternoon. This is Ruben Estrada, Chaplain for Chino Fire. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you. We recognize you as the King and God of heaven, creator of the universe, Lord. We thank you for your goodness and mercy that you bestow upon our lives every day. I pray, Father, for this meeting as it gets started, Lord. I pray, God, that you be with every person that is involved in this meeting, for that you grant wisdom to these leaders, your people, Lord, that you give them wisdom to make decisions and to make those decisions for the good of the organization, Chino Fire, all the fire departments. Lord, I pray, Father, for tremendous wisdom on their lives, and that you bless this meeting, and that everything that is said and done will be according to your purposes. In Jesus' most precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Estrada.
Thank you.
All right. Next, clerk of the board, do we have any changes to the agenda?
President Luth, we have no changes to the agenda this evening.
Thank you. Public hearings shall be held in accordance with the following procedure. Any person wishing to speak was provided with information on the agenda for participating in public hearings through the public comment process by contacting the clerk of the board. When addressing the board of directors, please state your name, address or area of residence, which is optional, and organization or association you represent, if any, for the records, spelling your last name. The public hearing is now open. We have under public hearing now we have adopt resolution number 2020-07 approving the 2020-21 original budget. Purpose is for the board to review, approve, and adopt resolution number 2020-07, formally adopting the 2020-21 original budget. Finance Director Heidi, please present your report.
Steve was having some technical issues, so we have him on speakerphone. Go ahead, Steve.
Good evening, President Luth, members of the board. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I think it's your typical Murphy's Law thing. When you want everything to go right, it doesn't quite go according to plan. So was there a person this evening. But with that, I'll go ahead and get started. So we have before you the fiscal 2021 budget. And we recommend that the Board of Directors review, approve, and adopt resolution number 2020-07, formally adopting 2020-21 original budget. The fiscal year 21 original budget document represents a culmination of some 6 groups. The budget development process officially had kicked off last December and culminating with the presentation and adoption this evening. In late May, we did host a budget workshop, which I think allowed us to extensively explore this budget with staff and the public. So I think that was a very worthwhile session. Top of mind awareness for all in government and beyond, of course, is what are the potential impacts to the district with regard to the COVID-19 recession. And as we discussed in detail at the workshop, we're not anticipating significant impact of recession in the 21 budget. Beyond that, we'll continue to monitor because there are the potential for impacts beginning in 22 and certainly in fiscal 23 as well. I just want to make sure that I cover that. But in terms of the fiscal 21 budget, due primarily to some $3.5 billion in capital outlay in fiscal 21, $3 million nearly of which is associated with the purchase of 4 replacement fire engines. This budget does include a proposed decrease in fund balance of about $1.9 million. With that said, we have sufficient funds in our capital replacement fund to offset that, and so the net operating revenue in the proposed budget is approximately $84,000. This is based on a projection of a healthy 5.5% revenue growth rate, and that's in comparison to an average of about 6.6% over the last decade annually. And so we are projecting, slightly decreasing from the 10-year average, but a healthy increase for next fiscal year on the revenue side. With respect to non-capital expenditures for fiscal 21, we are projecting about roughly a 2% increase on the non-capital expenditure side. So with that, that concludes my remarks, and I'll turn it back over to President Luth.
Thank you. Clerk of the board, do we have any public comments on this agenda item?
We did not receive public comment requests on this public hearing.
Okay, the public hearing is now closed. This is the time for the board to comment. Director Wynn Williams.
I think I asked all the questions I needed to ask when Steve went over it before, and I feel that we should adopt it.
Okay. Director Mike Krieger.
just want to thank staff for the time and commitment to put it all together, and for Steve and his team with all the work they did.
Director John DeMonico.
I concur, and I want to thank staff and Steve and your staff for doing a great job on the budget. We really appreciate it, and I have nothing to comment.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
No comment, just thank you so much for all the work.
Thank you. I agree. There's a lot of work went into this, and we discussed it at length in our workshop, and I appreciate all of the effort. One thing, before we move to a motion, one thing I do want to see if we can get some consensus on for staff is the state of the district filming, that whole process. Given what's going on, I'm interested in us not pursuing and doing that this year, foregoing the state of the district. And so I'm just bringing that to the board and see if there's consensus on that or not.
So you're proposing removing it from the budget?
Well, yes, eliminate it this year, yes.
Do you want to do that in the form of a motion?
I don't know if we need a motion to that effect, or if we need to just give direction.
I think if there's consensus, then as part of the motion, that consensus can be included in the motion.
Oh.
If I could just add, we likely have incurred a small amount of cost towards that, as we did meet with that company a couple times, and there's some initial work on the front end, so we would, even if we do cancel, we may incur some small costs associated with that. But they've always been very reasonable to work with as well.
No, they do a great job for us, but I just think given what's going on and all the other issues that I just hear before.
Just in regards to that, I wonder if we should still just keep the line item in there. There might be another way to do a message without it being a full-blown production, but maybe just something digital that could still be put out via our website and the city public service channels, that just might be just a couple minutes of something without the big to-do. So I think maybe we should just keep it in there for now, and then we can always look at the budget variance after we adopt the budget.
Well, either way, if we removed it, the money goes back into the general fund. If we leave it and don't spend it, it goes back in the general fund.
Right. Yeah, and I agree. I think it could be at the open house, some other thing or other process, would do something different than the whole.
I just don't know if it warrants us necessarily pulling it out of the budget. When there's money allocated there already, and we just don't know what's going to happen over the next 60 to 90 days.
Okay. But I would like, if we can get concurrence, direction of staff at this point.
I agree with you, not the full-blown production. I totally agree with you, not moving forward with that.
Okay.
I do. I agree as well.
Sarah?
Yeah.
I hate to take away your,
Yes.
take away your big speech, but.
When you good with that?
Yeah, I feel it should be eliminated also.
All right. So then with that, this time I'd like to request a motion. Please state your name before your motion.
John DeMonico, and I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Sarah, second.
Second. All right. So we have a motion by Director DeMonico, a second by Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger. I will now call for a roll call voice vote. Director Wynn Williams.
I vote yes.
Director Mike Krieger.
Yes.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Item carries unanimously. All right, now we're on to presentations and announcements. We have Employee Service Awards. This evening, we would like to recognize 10 service award recipients ranging from 5 to 20 years of service to the fire district. We regret that due to the current COVID-19 pandemic, we are not able to invite the award recipients to our meeting for a formal recognition. However, we have invited them and their families to join today remotely and hear their very well-deserved recognition for their service to the Chino Valley Fire District and the communities we serve. We appreciate the dedication and commitment of each employee being recognized tonight. I will begin by recognizing our 5-year service award recipients. Administrative Secretary Ariana Cisneros, Ariana started with the fire district on May 8, 2015 as an office technician and currently serves as an administrative secretary in support of the fire chief, fire board, and clerk of the board. Thank you, Ariana, for 5 years of service to the fire district. Office technician Donna Aurora. Donna started with the fire district as office technician on May 26, 2015, and currently serves at the training center. Thank you, Donna, for 5 years of service to the fire district. The following employees are being recognized for 10 years of service with the fire district. Captain Andrew Simpson. Andrew started with the fire district on June 14, 2020 as a firefighter paramedic and currently serves as captain. Thank you, Andrew, for 10 years of service to the fire district. Captain Brian Turner. Brian started with the fire district on June 14, 2010 as a firefighter paramedic. He currently serves as the fire district training captain at the training center. Thank you, Brian, for 10 years of service to the fire district. Engineer Daniel Fry. Daniel started with the fire district on June 14, 2010 as a firefighter paramedic. He currently serves as an engineer. Thank you, Daniel, for 10 years of service to the fire district. Engineer Bobby Pope. Bobby started with the fire district on June 14, 2010 as a firefighter paramedic. He currently serves as an engineer. Thank you, Bobby, for 10 years of service to the fire district. The following employees are being recognized for 15 years of service to the fire district. Engineer Travis Young. Travis started with the fire district on June 24, 2005 as a firefighter paramedic. He currently serves as an engineer. Thank you, Travis, for 15 years of service to the fire district. Fire Inspector Jim Powerley. Jim started with the fire district on April 5, 2005 and serves the fire district as a fire inspector. Thank you, Jim, for 15 years of service to the fire district. The following employees are being recognized for 20 years of service with the fire district. Battalion Chief Jeremy Alt. Jeremy started with the fire district on June 4, 2000 as a firefighter paramedic and currently serves as a battalion chief. Thank you, Jeremy, for 20 years of service to the fire district. Captain Michael Toole. Mike started with the fire district on June 3, 2000 as a firefighter paramedic and currently serves as a captain. Thank you, Mike, for 20 years of service to the fire district. Although the board of directors were not able to personally recognize you for your service, we would like to acknowledge each one of you and thank you for your commitment to serving the Chino Valley community. In the next week, service pins and awards will be delivered to you representing the corresponding years of service. Again, on behalf of the board of directors and the fire district, thank you for your service. Now we have public communications. This is the time and place for the general public to address the board of directors about subjects that do not appear elsewhere on the agenda. The public may address items on the agenda at the time addressed by the board. Due to board policy and Brown Act requirements, action may not be taken on any issue on the agenda, not on the agenda. When you address the board, please state your name and address, which is optional, prior to making your remarks. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. Clerk of the board, do we have any requests to speak?
We have no request to speak.
Thank you. Next, we have liaison reports to the fire district. Clerk of the board, do we have any liaisons speaking?
Yes, we do. This evening with us is Chairman of the Board of Supervisors, 4th District, Kirk Hackman.
Good evening, President and board members. Thank you for having me on. And I appreciate the opportunity to kind of update the county's efforts on COVID and some other things. First of all, I'll give you some raw numbers. We do have a COVID-19 website on the county. Right now, we're showing roughly about 6,600 people who got infected with the virus to date. Unfortunately, we already have 225 deaths. And in a nutshell, the last week or so, we're starting to see rising numbers within the county of San Bernardino, which is some to be expected since we're opening up more and more parts of the economy and people are trying to get back into normal, whatever the new normal is, routines going forward. We do expect those numbers to go up, but we got to make sure that people still follow the basic rules of wearing face masks, which I'm glad to see everyone's wearing there at the fire meeting tonight. and the physical distance and other kudos for you. And, making sure we do good hygiene all around. We do see some, spikes in different areas of the county. Obviously, one of the big ones we have in our backyard is the Chino Men's Prison. We see a large number of there at the confined conditions. And once the virus gets in there, it's going to be hard to keep other inmates and some of the staff from getting it. And also our senior homes, we saw that early on where there's our most vulnerable population that we're getting it. And so those concern us quite a bit. For the most part, we have what to watch out for on our website, and if you have symptoms, and we have really opened up, testing almost every day. In fact, we can't get enough people to go get tested lately. So if anybody wants to go get tested, please look on our website. We have different locations throughout the county, generally 5 days a week. We want to keep sure that we're testing everybody, we're getting those results, and to try to stop the spread of coronavirus. One that, every, disaster or event has some silver linings. And one of them is, I want to commend you and Chino Valley Fire and the staff and the chief to work with the other 18 agencies throughout the county for the first time ever for a joint incident command center that we're housing out at San Bernardino Airport right now. And that has been a wonderful experience. I think that many departments are looking toward the future of how we can utilize resources and work together more closely throughout the county. So this has been an opportunity for that. Another opportunity for us right now is kind of fast forwarding in time, utilizing technology like we're doing here tonight. We have, I think, sunk into society the use of Zoom and WebEx and other different video conferencing abilities to do that. And I think that's going to stick around with us past the COVID event, to a certain extent, to our day-to-day lives and business applications going forward. And we're also very excited that we're trying to lead the way right now with medical monitoring in a remote way. So telemedicine, for lack of a better word. We're going to be working with the Chino Valley Fire with our residents to know that, and other fire agencies, to utilize technology in the field to have better care for those residents they respond to, as well as better direction of where to go, which would be brand new concept for us. Right now, if someone calls 911 and you show up, the two choices are take in the emergency room or leave them at home if they want to stay. With the technology that we actually are receiving tomorrow, the first two briefcase kits will have advanced telecommunications, encrypted communications that will allow a doctor to video conference into on-site, and with over 25 different hookups, everything from EKGs to ultrasounds and a bunch of gadgets that your guys know what they are, but I don't know what they are. But basically a full, operating monitoring room in the field, and the data can be transported back securely to a base site, and now that doctor in the base site can now determine if that patient needs to go to the emergency room or to some other facility, maybe an urgent care or the regular doctor, or can be treated on site. So I'm excited about bringing that technology. All my friends here on the board know that I've been really trying to push forward governance in the technology way, and this would be one of our first steps. And that can be something we can all work together on the 19 different agencies in San Bernardino County. And with COVID funding that we have, I would be able to outfit that for every department in the county if we so choose to go that way. At the end of this year, we plan to go completely digital medical records, at least the major facilities and hospitals within the county, along with Riverside County. I think that software gets up and running by November. Hope all goes well. So this would be integrated right into those virtual medical records and digital medical records as well. So a lot of improvements going forward, so to speak, on technology, but we need to keep acting strong as residents. And I'm proud of our residents doing such a great job. We did send a letter to the governor about 2 weeks ago. All the days kind of running together now. and weeks seems like months sometimes, but to open up more of the economy. But we got to do our part as residents to make sure that we're taking our safety measures seriously. What I like to say is that we do not need to fear this virus, but we need to respect it and do the things that we need to do to keep ourselves and our families safe when we go home each day. And so we need to take those precautions going forward. We will be able to start seeing movies on Friday, as well as there's new parameters coming from the state almost daily, not quite, but I don't know when the biggest questions I get asked, and sorry, Sarah, I don't know when the nail salons are going to open. I don't know why we get a haircut, but we can't get our feet and hands done. But that's still on the closed list from the governor right now. But we're opening up quite a bit more as we see the restaurants, the retail, and most of the other businesses are starting to go up to open up, except for maybe group settings or those settings in such a way where you have close proximity. So those are still being cautioned, but I do expect them to be open next week or so. We just got another kind of ruling on youth sports. They're technically still closed, but we can do camps. And so what's the definition of practice? Is that a camp or is that a youth sport? So we're working on those issues over the next couple of days, and we add our criteria to the state criteria how to open in a safe manner. And one last thing to open it up, then I'll be happy to answer any questions. We also started a business compliant campaign for our businesses. We want them to lead the way in safety for their own employees, as well as our constituents that go, visit, shop, dine at a particular business. And so we have, one, they're supposed to do it anyway, but two, we want to help them make those adjustments. And so we put $30 million into a business compliant campaign to allow companies under 100 employees to apply for if you do the criteria that you're supposed to do to keep yourself, your employees, and your customers safe going forward. So that's been very successful. I think we're up to 3,500 or close to 4,000 applications. So if you see a little COVID compliant sign in the business, they have applied. I'm proud to say the first one was in Chino Hills in my district that I handed out a few weeks ago, but we see more and more coming in all the time. And it helps the awareness for the residents to know that COVID is still here. We still need to take it seriously going forward. And with that, Mr. President, I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
I do have a question. Mr. Hagman, my name is Wynn Williams. I'm a director here. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely, Wynn.
Okay, a couple of days ago I was in Home Depot, and it seemed like about 2 out of 10 people in there weren't wearing masks, and it concerned me. And is the county, I realize it's not in the county, it's in the city, but is the county able to mandate that people wear masks in environments like that?
Yes, thank you for the question. We started off with a countywide mask order way back when. We got a lot of feedback that, and people weren't taking it seriously because why I have to wear it when I'm driving my car? Why do I have to wear it when I'm walking my dog? Well, we want people to think pragmatically. When you go indoors, you should wear it around other people, but obviously you can't wear it when you sit down and eat. So we did the latest health order we have out there right now is to allow any business in the county to require that for their patrons to come in. So we do recommend it countywide for everything, but we also allow every business to have their own procedure to require it. Like any other rule or ordinance or law, it's very difficult to get it worded right where common sense comes in place. My old saying back from the assembly days is you can't legislate stupid. And sometimes people are not, following the spirit of the rule and picks out the letter of the law because, and then they decide not to kind of resist and wear that. But right now we do have a standing order for every business who wants to require. We have a recommend on everybody, but the business can require that to go in. And it's about enforcement. As you know, when it's difficult to send my deputies or police officers or even health officials go out and give $1,000 fine for someone not wearing a mask. But I've seen some very good stores where they check people coming in and even offer a mask for those that come in. But some people just want to resist it too.
Any other questions?
Well, I just wanted to say thank you for all the effort in everything that the county is, and you personally are putting into this, pandemic. It is scary, and, hopefully we'll get over it pretty soon. It seemed like this, George Floyd thing kind of knocked the pandemic out of the limelight, but, I don't want to see it come roaring back or anything myself. And, thank you for the update. Have you heard anything about the vaccines, how they're doing, their trials on the vaccine?
No, I don't have any special lines of communication. Half the time, I don't know when the governor's going to make an announcement because they aren't telling us. But I'm watching the news like everyone else. I know there's a lot of promising things out there, but for right now, we know what it is. Even if they came up with something tomorrow, it would take a long time before everybody get vaccinated and produce it. So we have to figure this is our new normal for a while. For those who do get sick and for those who may have had it or think they may have had it, you can get the antibody test as well. What we're telling people is, for the most part, if you have insurance, go see your doctor. They'll send you to probably LabCorp or one of those type of places where you get it done. If you don't have insurance, we'll take care of you. We have many clinics and our pop-up test sites throughout the county, as well as Arrowhead Medical, our hospital. So everyone should be able to get it tested. If you ever felt like you're really sick for a couple of weeks, go get tested. At least see if you have an antibody test. And if you have any symptoms at all and you want to get tested, or you think you may be exposed to someone, please go get tested as well. That's the best way we can do to help stop the spread, is to find out who has it and then take precautions with them. And let them be a little bit isolated from home, away from their family members, and especially for those who can be elderly or those who may have other pre-existing conditions.
Thank you, Supervisor Hagman. That's all the questions I have.
Anyone else?
Yes.
Hi, Supervisor Hagman, this is Sarah. I just wanted to thank you and your staff. I know that you guys have worked tirelessly on this for us, for the residents, and nonstop. And you had to learn things that you never thought that you'd have to implement. And I just wanted to thank you. Thank you so much for all the work, and please extend my sincere gratitude to your staff as well, because I know you guys have put in just a tremendous amount of hours. That's all my comment is. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. And I do have to brag and let you know how serious I take this as well. You all know my son, Jonathan, and he was the first platoon to go be dispatched with the National Guard to LA a week ago last Saturday, showing up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so you can imagine Jonathan being a lonely second lieutenant with his platoon on Hollywood Boulevard for 14-hour days for 9 days. And all he wanted to do is come home and have his big steak and macaroni and cheese as requested. But I wouldn't let him go out of one room, because I go, not until you get COVID tested. You're not going to be circulating around the house. And luckily, I texted the governor and Eric Garcetti that suggested they test all the National Guardsmen before they went home, and they did. So the next day he found out he was COVID. He was fine, no virus. Now I let him get out of his room, but you got to take it seriously, even after deployment.
Thank you.
Kurt, it's Mike Krieger. I just want to tell you thank you as well. I appreciate the website that was put up. I look at that quite often. It's filled with good information and your regular updates through all social media channels. I appreciate it as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
And this is Harvey Levin. Yeah, I echo all the information, and the effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you all for we got the best fire department in the county by far, and they've been great to work with on this.
Thank you, and Director DeMonaco has comment.
Yes, sir, Supervisor Jenkins. I just want to echo what everybody has said. Thank you very much for everything you and the county's done. We appreciate you, and I do follow this regularly. I do subscribe to the updates, and I get those, and really appreciate the information that you share. I also listen to you at the council meetings, and really appreciate all that you have done with this. So thank you.
Well, John, you need to get a life if you watch me on the board meetings, okay? Because there can be long sometimes, right? No, I thank you for your help and the relationship that we have with with Chino Valley Fire, and the county is second to none. We work hand in hand together, and to our residents, we got a great board and a great fire district to watch over us. And thank you for letting me give you the update tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. All right, clerk of the board, do we have any other liaisons speaking?
President Allouth, we have no additional liaison reports. However, we do have a late request for public comment. Our agenda had requested for the public to submit their emails ahead of time in writing or to register ahead of time for real-time public comment. However, we do have a request that came in at 6:21 for public comment from resident Brad Goldberg. So I just wanted to put that before you and legal counsel to see how you'd like to handle that.
Okay, I'm getting a positive nod here from legal.
It's within the board's discretion to allow it. And I would
Okay.
recommend it.
So I'll go ahead and open the public communication, public comment, and we'll take that public comment now.
Mr. Goldberg, you may need to unmute your phone.
Yes. Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Hello. Good afternoon, members of the public, fire staff of Chino Valley Fire District, Chief Shackelford, President Luth. I first want to thank the fire district for all the hard work that they've continued to do in these challenging times. This year started with a disease that was far away and of no risk to America. Then within 3 months, it completely changed every part of our day-to-day activities. This year, we are facing a pandemic. We are facing two pandemics, one that has been around for 6 months and one that has been around since 1619, when the first enslaved person arrived on our shores. Both of these pandemics has caused the world to stop and listen. One of these pandemics has an easy and straightforward answer. It should be over in the next 12 to 18 months when a vaccine has been developed and has been widely distributed. The other has reached into every part of our society. This year will be the defining moment for generations to come. Now is the time for all elected officials and anyone else with the power to make a change to first stop and listen. They must listen not only to the news and social media, but they must go out into the streets and listen to all people. In the coming months, all sector of governments and public service are going to be under a magnifying glass of public scrutiny. This will be a time where any and all concerns must be heard and fully acknowledged, no matter your individual feelings or belief. I ask that you all take the time to come and listen to the words of our people who our youth have brought into the streets. Now is the time to rise above and come together for the healing of our community and all of its residents. With that being said, I please ask all of you as members of the Chino Valley to consider coming to one of the weekly protests on Grand and Peyton sometime around 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and just see our youth. It is a very emotional and very heartwarming thing to see our students and our residents of all different backgrounds coming together, and we've all seen the violent footage of George Floyd's death, and it has shaken us to our cores. And if it hasn't, you must stop and consider something within yourselves. With that, I appreciate your time, and with that, I have one final comment. I don't normally do this, but I'd like to offer a prayer. God of infinite mercy, please hear our prayers. In this time of bewilderment and fear, we ask that you give us the courage to take care of one another as Jesus is. For those who are especially ill, especially those who are frightened and alone, for those who cannot access health care, for those who are homeless, and for those lost, hear our prayers. In the midst of our sadness and grief, we ask that you give to us words to comfort one another. For those who are dying, and for those who have already died from this virus, for those who tend them, and for those with no one to tend them, hear our prayers. In the midst of our anxiety, we ask that you give us the courage to support one another as you would. For those who are unexpectedly unemployed, for those employers who share what they can, for our government and financial institutes, and for those who lend them, hear our prayers. In the midst of our struggles to ensure a healthy future for all who live on this planet, we ask that you give to us the hope that surpasses our current understanding. For healthcare workers, spiritual leaders, our faith community, for artists, for poets, for our public servants, for our prophets, for our teachers, hear our prayers. In the midst of our growing awareness that all life on earth is connected, we ask for the heart to respect and cherish all life. That all people recognize that we are all your children. Hear our prayers. We trust in you and your power working in us. Please hear and answer our prayers. Amen. Thank you, President Luth and board, for your time.
Thank you. With that, we'll close public communications. All right. With that, we're on to the consent calendar. Clerk of the board, do we have any public comment on the consent calendar?
We have no comment on the consent calendar.
Thank you. If any board members wish to pull an item from the consent calendar for discussion, please state your name and the item number you wish to pull.
I would like to pull some.
Okay.
I'd like to pull number 6, number 9, and number 10.
Any other pulls? No? All right. So then I would like to request a motion on items 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Yes.
Motion to approve, Sarah.
Second, Krieger.
Okay, so we have a motion by Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger and a second by Director Krieger. I will now call for a roll call voice vote. Director Wynn Williams.
Yes.
Director Mike Krieger.
Yes.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
Yes.
And myself, yes. All right, so that carries. So we'll go to item 6, Wynn.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Board meeting travel authorization to attend conference meetings, training, and so on. I think it's time that I be put back into the fold. I don't understand why you keep me out. It has been proven by one of the investigations you did on me that I had a right to ask for the 2 copies that I did, and there was a lot of trouble by it. Why do you persist on holding me out?
It's got nothing to do with this item. Any other?
It does have something to do with the item because I'm not getting any. I'm not getting any of the liaisons and the stuff that we're talking about here.
Is there a motion to approve number 6?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion by Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger, a second by Director John DeMonico. I will now call for a roll call voice vote. Director Wynn Williams.
Yes.
Director Mike Krieger.
Yes.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
Yes.
And myself, yes, carries unanimously. Item number 9, Wynn.
Okay, resolution approving CAL FIRE contract. What is the cost of this CAL FIRE contract?
$443,467.58.
It's in
the notes.
Staff report.
Yes.
Okay. Had a little trouble with my computer this last week. I got
$443,000.
Okay. What happened is I had a notice on my gate this morning from the computer company who said that they need to come to my house and do some work. I wasn't able to get some of the stuff on the computer, so I appreciate you giving me that. $443,000.
Yes. The
Thank
city of Chino Hills will pick up $148,000 of that.
Okay, thank you very much.
So our net cost would be $294,000.
Okay, and I really appreciate that because, like I say, I Spectrum dropped out on me, so kind of left me hanging there. So, other than that, that's all I had on number 9.
All right, are you prepared to move it, or?
Yes, I am prepared.
All right.
I'd like to move that we approve that.
All right, is there a second? Second. All right, a motion by Director Wynn Williams, second by Director Mike Krieger. I will now call for a roll call voice vote. Director Wynn Williams.
Yes.
Director Mike Krieger.
Yes.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Evinger.
Yes.
And myself, yes. Carries unanimously. Number 10, Wynn.
Yeah, on this, number 10 was the professional services with Mr. Messina. I don't know how much this was for either. How much was it for?
Would you like me to speak to that, President Wood?
Yes, please.
Okay. As outlined in the staff report, it's for an hourly rate of $200 per hour, not to exceed $43,200 for the year.
Thank you very much. In regards to that, this issue, I'm going to ask that we not approve it on the basis of the fact that Mr. Messina has made some statements that we needed to do, and specifically the statement was is that we need to make sure that we control our brand, meaning keep our good name and so on. And under the circumstances, I don't feel that this board is interested in keeping a good name and keeping a brand and so on. So we're not following his advice, so why go after it if we're not going to follow it? And in regards to that, I say this, here again, is it has been shown by a $35,000 investigation that I had a right to ask for the 2 copies that caused all the problems. And you refuse to turn it around and say, we're sorry, we're going to put you back in the fold, we're going to give you some some of the things that the other board members get. Why do you continue to keep me out? There's no reason for it. I don't understand it. State it.
Any other comments regarding this item?
I will. I found incredibly valuable help and experience from Mike Messina's help in his institutional knowledge within the people here with the district. He's been helping out for years. I've personally spoken to him about development several times. He was very helpful to me when I was a new board member, when I was president, and I moved to approve this item.
Any other comments?
I would like to just say that he has pushed this district in many ways as far as succession planning, development for our leadership teams, development for the board as well. His contracts, the price, I think, has been invaluable. I mean, he has just done an amazing job here. And I feel that if the staff report may have been read completely, he would understand Director Wilson, my evaluation of the scope of the contract and everything. We can't just focus on one tiny thing. We need to look at the big picture when we make decisions. And Mike Messina has just done an amazing job. And, maybe Christy should have, been able to read the staff report and just provide additional information. It's there for us. And I agree, yes, I agree 100% with everything that you have written there.
Since we met for Finance Committee, I've received additional feedback. So this is from the employees and the management team that I'd like to share. What they've gained from working with Mike has increased their introspection, inspired them, improved their ability to see multiple viewpoints of an issue, heightened their sense of political acumen, and many have stated that they wish they worked with him earlier in their career. He's played a significant role in their success. His ability to listen and guide the conversation in a productive manner is second to none. He has a great outside perspective, and he provides more time to us than he bills for monthly, and superior value to our employees and our management team. We really appreciate working with Mike. So thank you for the opportunity to speak on that.
Thank you. You want to go on?
Yes, I'd like to make a comment. Mr. Messina has been a tremendous asset to the fire district for quite a while. He's done a great job. It's demonstrated with with what Christy just read, and those things Sarah said I echo. And I would like to second this motion.
And I would agree. When I first, it's no secret, when I got here, I thought, what are we doing with a consultant? I've made this comment more than once, but I have come to appreciate and respect Mike. He's a tremendous ally to this district. He's a great resource. He's very helpful to this board and to our staff. And yeah, I totally agree. Completely support this contract. And so we have a motion by Director Krieger and a second by Director DeMonico. I will now call for a roll call voice vote. Director Wynn Williams.
No.
Director Mike Krieger.
Yes.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Settinger.
Yes.
And myself, Harvey Luke, yes. Item carries 4-1, with the one being Director Wynn Williams. On to old business, none. New business, CSDA Board of Directors election ballot term 2021 through 2023 CC Southern Network. Purpose is for the Board of Directors to confirm the fire district's desire to participate in the current CSDA Board elections for 2020 and cast a vote for a candidate for CC in the Southern Network. Clerk of the Board, Hanny, please present your report.
President Luce, members of the board, the fire district has received an official ballot from CSDA for a current vacancy on the board of directors within the Southern Network. Each network has 3 seats represented and elected by the CSDA membership. Chino Valley Fire District is included in the Southern Network. Attached to your staff report is a CSDA ballot for your voting consideration. Any independent special district with current membership in CSDA is eligible to cast 1 vote. The ballot is due to CSDA by 5 p.m. on July 10, 2020. The 4 candidates are Ronald Coates with East Valley Water District, Daniel Jaggers with Beaumont Valley Water District, Greg Mills with Serrano Water District, and incumbent Arlene Schaefer with Costa Mesa Sanitary District. It is recommended that the Board of Directors confirm the fire district's desire to participate in the current CSDA board election for 2020 and cast a vote for 1 candidate for seat C in the Southern Network.
Thank you. Clerk of the Board, do we have any public comment on this agenda item?
We have no public comment on this agenda item.
Thank you. This is the time for board comments. When I call your names, please state your comments. Director Wynn Williams.
I have no comment.
Director Mike Krieger.
I'm going to actually defer to my 2 counterparts here that are very involved with CSDA, hear what their advice is on this.
Thank you. Director John DeMonico.
I'd like to recommend Arlene Schaefer. She's the incumbent on the board of directors for this. They're 3-year terms, so she's the incumbent for this cycle.
Okay. And Vice President Sarah Ramos-Settinger.
And I agree with Director DeMonico's recommendation. Arlene has served us and she's done a great job.
Okay. In my short time here, I would agree with all that. So this time I would like to request a motion. Please state your name before your motion.
John DeMonico, and I make a motion that we vote for Arlene Schaefer.
Thank you.
And Sarah, and I second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion by Director DeMonico and a second by Vice President Sarah Ramos-Settinger. I will now call for a roll call voice vote. Director Wynn Williams.
I vote yes.
Director Mike Krieger.
Yes.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes.
Vice President Sarah Ramos-Settinger.
Yes.
And myself, yes, item carries. Next, we're on the Fire Chief's comments. Fire Chief Tim Shackelford, do you have any comments?
I do. President Luke, members of the board, good evening. The fire district has provided office space and parking spots at Fire Station 63 for Chino police officers serving the preserve area. This partnership will improve service to the community. President Luke, Vice President Ramos-Settinger, Director DeMonico, and Director Krieger attended CSDA Legislative Days virtual event May 18th through May 22nd. A virtual badge fitting ceremony for our new firefighter paramedics took place on May 21st. Director Krieger participated in Congressman Cisneros in your city, Chino Hills Zoom conference on May 22nd. Director DeMonico and I attended the Confire Board of Directors meeting on June 5th. It was a lengthy meeting focused on the budget, and at the end of the meeting, Director Mike Bell announced his retirement from Confire. San Bernardino County Fire Chief Muncie, Loma Linda Fire Chief Parker, Colton City Council member, and Confire Board of Directors Vice Chair Cisneros and I will serve on the recruitment committee to fill that position. Last night, Vice President Ramos Evinger, Director Delonico, and I attended a lengthy Chino Hills City Council meeting. Under organizational items of interest, at 3:14 p.m. on Monday, June 8th, Fire District personnel responded to a reported vegetation fire in a vacant lot in a commercial business area on Central Avenue in Chino. The wind-driven fire spread to ornamental vegetation on both sides of Central Avenue, trash dumpsters, automobiles, and an adjacent two-story medical building. Automatic and mutual aid resources from neighboring fire agencies provided assistance, and the Chino Police Department provided traffic and crowd control. I'd like to commend everyone involved, not only our staff, but the firefighters from other agencies for their assistance, and commend them for a job well done. And at this time, I'd like to ask Deputy Chief Atkinson to provide an overview of some drought-tolerant landscape that has been installed at Station 63.
Okay, so I'll show you a picture shortly, and they'll appear up on the back screen. So President Luth, members of the board, beginning last year, we've begun the process of applying for a California turf replacement rebate for the front of Station 63. In early March, the fire district received approval to replace 4,200 square feet of grass and shrubs with drought-tolerant, sustainable landscaping. The process involved many components, from submission drawings, on-site visits, and the actual physical work. The district was approved for a rebate of $12,252 from the SoCal Water Smart and Metropolitan Water District of Southern California. Good news, we stayed within budget and completed the project on schedule, even through the COVID-19 stuff. The new drought-tolerant landscaping includes the removal of the 4,200 square feet of grass, 4 drought-tolerant plants for every 100 square feet, a drip system, irrigation to all plants, and use of bark and decomposed granite for the surface material. And last, we had to also create a rain-catching rock swale. That was part of the requirements. I'd like to thank Steve Burns, our Fleet and Facilities Coordinator, for managing the project, and also our partnership and assistance from CAL FIRE Prado Station. We utilized the crews from the hand crews to remove all the grass. It took over 3 days to remove grass. It was a little bit bigger project than we originally anticipated, but we did get the work done. And with that, we'll show you the before and after pictures up there. If we could go back one picture. That's as you drive into Station 63. So on the left was the original with the grass, and then the right would be the new. Next picture, please. Next picture is that area right in front of the station. So on the left with the grass, and then also you can see the drought-tolerant landscaping. Next picture, please. That's the main area that you see right to the east on the station, and that's our largest area. So you can see quite a difference there. Looks really nice. Last picture, please. And that gives you a perspective. There's a big rock swell, as I talked about. We're required to have an area that the water from the drain spouts would go into that area and then be reabsorbed back into the ground. So with that, that's our project, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
No questions. It looks great. That's awesome. Thank you.
The thing I'd like to say is I really appreciate you having the pictures and stuff. It's really nice to be able to see what you guys have done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Under upcoming events, our administrative office will be closed on Friday, July 3rd in observance of Independence Day. And finally, the City of Chino's fireworks spectacular event has been canceled. And that concludes my comments for this evening.
Okay, this is time for board comments. Director Wynn Williams.
Thank you very much. I have a question for our attorney. Question I have, Jeff, is can you show me where it is okay for the attorney, the fire chief, and the president of the board to go after one of the board members without approval of the other board members, such as happened to me? That's all I ask of you.
This is board member comment time. It's not a question and answer time.
Well, it's a thing where I'm asking you to show me in black and white at some point in time where that is an approved situation. Okay, if you would, I'd appreciate it. And isn't it time we wrap this up? You know, I predicted this about a year ago, that I would be off, and you guys are gonna treat me this way the whole time I'm on the board. And it's happening. Harvey, I thought you were gonna kind of put this behind us and we were gonna work as a group, and you're not interested in it. And Sarah, you asked me to resign my second meeting, and then you make comments twice because I asked our attorney, who has a Jew name, if he celebrates Christmas. And you make a big deal out of that, but you don't think a thing about asking me to resign on my second meeting. What's the matter with you? You're gonna be our president next year. You need to act decent. And the rest of you need to understand, I didn't do anything wrong. You paid $35,000. I even voted no on that investigation. You paid $35,000 for an investigation that proved that I had a right to ask for those 2 copies that you made such an issue of. And now the 4 of you stick together and feel that you're just like I'd said long ago, you're like the schoolyard game. As long as you stick together and you work against me, do you want me to grovel? Do you want me to get down on me? Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't do anything wrong. You did it wrong. You didn't do right by me, but you're not willing to accept that. And because I'm not willing to grovel and say, oh, I'm so sorry, you're not willing to put it behind us and put me on the board as a regular member. And you're just going to keep it going and going and going. Every one of you owes me an apology. The clerk of the board owes me an apology for causing me the trouble. The chief owes me an apology for causing me the trouble. I told you I was going to do this. I'll do it every meeting until you guys decide you want to have a cohesive board. And that's the way it's going to be. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to back down. I have a brand too. I have the Lynn Williams brand, and I have to protect it. And it comes after the fire district brand. And I intend to escalate this up because people need to know what you guys are about. I don't know why you did that investigation on me, but it didn't turn out the way you wanted it because you buried it in the consent calendar. I couldn't believe that. You wouldn't even talk about it. I don't know what it's going to take to make you guys understand that you've done me wrong, but you're going to hear about it a lot unless you put me back on and we work as a unit the way we should. I didn't do anything wrong. I said that. I'll say it again and again and again. You're thinking I'm wrong now because I'm talking about it in the way I am. Well, get used to it because you're going to hear about it every meeting. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Director Mike Krieger.
When I'm appalled at the words you just used here in the meeting, discussing somebody's heritage. It's disgusting. It's wrong. It's appalling that you just did that. If you've learned nothing over the last 2 weeks, you should have learned that. I think your speech you just gave is the exact reason why you are not, in my view, because I'm only going to speak for myself, while I'm not in favor of putting you back on any committee representing this district right now. I'm appalled, Lynn. I am. You keep mentioning this 35-page letter investigation. Go back and read it, Lynn, because it clearly says that you were wrong. Going to my comments, I attended Chino City Council meetings. I also attended, just for fun, the 4-hour and 15-minute Chino Hills meeting last night, as well as their budget meeting. The school board has met. They are concerned about their budget because they're state funded, and they don't know how much money they're going to have. They're looking at $10 to $20 million potential shortfall. And they're trying to figure out how to reopen school and what does that mean and how are things counted. As the chief mentioned, I took part in the CSDA legislation days. I did 3 of the webinar modules that I obtained the certification. I provided those certifications to Chief Shackelford, to Sandra, and to President Luth as well for proof that I did those and I was there on those days. The Chief and I met via phone for our monthly meeting. On my own time, I've attended many webinars. There's rarely a day that I'm not part of one. One of them or several of them I attended was through USC and their School of Public Policy there. That's been very interesting and helpful. The Lieutenant Governor spoke that went about reopening California and what that meant. Several Chamber of Commerce, our local chamber, has local Zoom meetings, as well as the Small Business Development Center. And as the Chief mentioned, I attended Congressman Cicerno's Zoom meeting. It was a good, community meeting just to get a different perspective from the congressional standpoint. I want to say I'm incredibly proud of our staff and our community during these trying times. And with that, I will conclude my comments for tonight. Thank you.
Director John DeMonico.
Yes, I'd like to concur with Director Krieger on what he said about being a fall. I'm a fall as well. But I'd just like to make a comment that the investigation, thorough minutes of all our meetings, most of our meetings are online. It's all transparent. It's available to the public. And I urge the public to read it, to take a look at it, and you can see exactly what's occurred and what the outcome was on those. And we don't have to belabor those. The public can make their own decision. And I encourage the public to do that. But I'd also like to say congratulations to all our service awards tonight. Thank you for your years of service. And I did attend a number of things, as well as I attended supervisors meetings, Chino council meetings, and legislative days, which was really interesting this year, doing it on a computer. But I found it very enlightening and really learned a lot. Confire meeting, Chief said that the director's leaving, Mike Bell's leaving, and if anybody knows any good people out there, the Chief's on the recruitment committee, so have them send in their resume. We're looking for somebody, a good qualified person to come out there and to replace Mike Bell, who's done a tremendous job. I did have a CSDA fiscal committee meeting today, and the interesting thing with CSDA, with fiscal and going through their budget, is that they've had to cancel the conference and all these types of things, which are generally money makers for them. But it also is a big expenditure for them. And really, in the end, it ended up balancing out, and they're not really going to be suffering any financial impact negatively this year by having to cancel all those things. And one of the things that saves them is that with all the legislation, with the pandemic, and all the things occurring, that their actual membership has increased, which is where they get most of their money. So based on that, they are able to stay in the black this year and for next budget as well for the CSDA. So that's kind of really good news. So they're doing okay. With that, I did ask for we had a meeting in February, a workshop, and the workshop was bifurcated. We had part of the workshop on the chief's evaluation and part of the workshop on Mr. Williams and some other things. So part of the meeting was closed session, part of the meeting was open session. And in the March meeting, I asked for more detailed minutes from that February meeting because they did pull that item in March. And thought the minutes were pretty vague, so I asked for more detailed minutes. Well, in the meantime, this COVID-19 hits. And it just kind of threw everything kind of askew a little bit. But I'm going to go back and ask for not the closed portion meeting minutes, but the open meeting minutes from that. And I believe that those are usually provided by the consultant to run a workshop, Mr. Messina. So I'm asking to have those presented to us. So I'm requesting that again. So thank you. And we'll be back before the 4th of July, won't we? I want to wish everybody a safe 4th, but you're probably going to spend it at home. So with that concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Civil.
Okay, thank you so much. First, I want to say that it's awesome to see everybody face to face, even though we are practicing our social distancing and we all have our masks on. I also attended the virtual CSGA Ledge Days and getting used to all these virtual webinars, et cetera, so it's nothing new. Participated in the badge pinning for our new recruits, and that was amazing. Thank you so much for staff that we were able to share that special moment. I guess I just got Dave and also, okay, so we have.
It was IT, they were the brains behind the operation.
Okay.
We had the easy part.
Both so much. That was great. It was awesome that I'll say I was at work, but I was able to participate and I was able to see that. So very cool. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Really, really appreciate that, Chris, and everyone who was involved. The couple Chino Health Council meetings, our special board meetings, I had a finance committee meeting. The stuff was on our agenda today, agenda review, and this morning I had a CSA professional development meeting and kind of went over where we were at as far as membership, et cetera, today, and we're really not in bad shape as far as our membership. I think we're only down from last year, and we end our membership drive in November, so I think we're like maybe 9 down, so we still have time to.
But they've had new ones come on board.
Oh, yes, yeah.
We're actually at 101%.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we have, we have, as from last year, I think our goal is 23. So right now we're just 9 down, which isn't bad, and we haven't lost a lot. We're still reaching out. We have quite a few who were in their membership, their temporary membership. They're kind of playing it, seeing what's going on. Through the COVID, we kind of lost track of a few of those. We're trying to reach out right now to see about, but there's been, the reason why we feel that we've had the increase in membership is that we have the COVID discussion area, and we've had so many people that have reached out and utilized all the resources on there. Right now, we're still on board. I'm going to say we are still on board for Resource and Connections for Board Secretary, September 11th, and we have a thing, Board Secretaries and Clerks Inspiration and Knowledge on July 9th, and the ABCs of SDLF on October 4th. And so here's the conference dates, and they are kind of slated to be live. These ones are. Special District Leadership Academy is September 27th through 30th in Lake Tahoe. A second one, November 15th through 18th in San Diego. And the Board Secretary and Clerk Conference, October 26th and 28th. Those are still kind of slated as being live conferences. So with that, congratulations to all the service awards. That was great. We had quite a few. I was sad not to see everybody today. I can't believe that we have some, already 20. It just seems like yesterday. I guess I've been around a little while, personally, myself. Also, I want to wish all of the fathers out there a happy Father's Day. That's in a couple weeks. Hope you all enjoy your day and have just a nice, relaxing, quiet day. And also, 4th of July, wishing everyone a safe and sane. I know this year it might be a little crazy. We don't have venues to go to. There's probably going to be quite a few more people doing stuff at home, and just remember, I know Chino, it's 1,000 times no, that there's still a lot of regulations out there. Chino Hills, you're prohibited from doing any type of fireworks, so just not to forget that. That's so important right now. And thank you so much.
Thank you. And if I attended a couple of Chino council meetings, legislative days, as already was mentioned, was very well done. Very different environment, of course, but they did a great job with that. And the airport commission meeting, our budget workshop, finance meeting, agenda meetings. I'm very pleased to hear about our involvement with Chino PD at Station 63. That got recognized at the Chino Council meeting. They're very appreciative. It sounds like it's working out well for both of us. So I'm very thankful for everybody who made that happen and made that work out. That's a nice the effort to make that available, so we can watch that. Congratulations to all of our service awards, all very well deserved. And please pass along our apologies to Isaac, please, if you would. I'm embarrassed for those comments. And my last comment would be, if anybody is interested in actually seeing what Director Wentz is talking about, it's in the minutes from November 13, 2019. It's on page 20 of the actual investigation, but you need to read page 20 and 21, which are on page 110 through 111 of the minutes, and that will give you the real information that you need to know regarding his comments. With that, the meeting will be adjourned to a regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the Chino Valley Independent Fire District to be held on Wednesday, July 8, 2020. With that, we are adjourned.
Do we not announce the special meeting?